Recording. We are going live in 5, 4, 3, 2. We're live.
Good morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. It is currently 8 a.m. like normal. It is a little bit rainy outside right now, folks, so I hope you have a hoodie or a light jacket on. It's not super cold out. It's actually almost 60 degrees. It's 59 degrees out right now, and we have a high of 71 today. And it's supposed to stop raining in about an hour or two, but I would keep that jacket handy because it's supposed to be cloudy and getting even windier as the day moves on. So just be prepared for that chance that it'll just pick back up at any moment. Now, traffic conditions going into Tulsa are pretty slow right now. I imagine a lot of it's just due to the rain at the moment, but again, it's always at 76th Street. Entrance ramp is right where it gets slow. Because right outside here, if I'm looking across the street over at the Y, it's moving decently steady there, but just right there at 76th Street is where it's slowing down again. Now, as far as local news goes, I've had a couple of things happening. We forgot to report on yesterday, but it was just, it's so not on my radar. But we'll go ahead and remind you that you got the grand opening of the Drip Bar today. I believe that's at 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
That's
the ribbon cutting ceremony.
That is correct. And I'll be heading over there to live stream it as well, if I can get an opportunity to.
And so with the Drip Bar open up today, then you also have the Home and Garden Show all this weekend, as well as the Owasso High School putting on the Little Shop of Horrors. So go support the Owasso High School, go support our local thespians, and go check out that performance and see how... like I said, again, I'm interested to see how the puppetry is going to work on that. Mm-hmm. So be a cool thing to witness or be a part of.
Absolutely. And the Lori Fulbright talk is today at 1 p.m. as well.
That's right.
At the Faith Lutheran Church. And again, that is pretty much right there by Target or, IHOP. But for people who want the actual address, it is 9222 North Garnett, Owasso, Oklahoma.
There you go. All right. Now, what happened, what I was kind of alluding to earlier, when I was speaking, was we didn't really record or talk about the events that was going on yesterday because it was just so under the radar, so ridiculous. So the Westboro Baptist came to the Westboro Baptist Church. A few members, not a lot. A few members came to it, and it's always just a few members. Like the church literally has like 18 members, and it's literally they're all family members. So the fact that the Westboro Baptist Church is still relevant in our media and relevant in this conversation about, the ADL or whatever, the Southern Poverty Law Center classifies them as a hate group.
Or even an extremist group in some cases.
And here's the thing. They've never done anything violent. All they do is they go to soldiers' funerals and say, it's good that this soldier died because they're very anti-war, anti-violence. They're, any death is murder to them. And then you have, whenever, they go and they say God hates gays, they hold up those signs. So that's why they were here. They were here for that next Benedict thing. And obviously, next being non-binary kind of fits into the mold of what they view as the degradation of society. So, of course, they came out here and protested. What's sad about this whole situation is a bunch of anti or pro-LGBT groups came out and were counter-protesting against them. And this is what I'm talking about. Do not give these people the time of day. If nobody covered the Westboro Baptist Church, they would be out of the cultural zeitgeist. No one would care. No one would know. Like, literally, if that counter-protest group hadn't been here, no one would even known. There would have been like 2 people walking around with signs in a circle like, oh, God hates gays. And people would just be like, oh, I guess a group of crazy people are walking around today. Just make sure the campus security doesn't let them anywhere near the school.
Yeah. And I even talked to a couple of people like, I'm afraid that extremist group's going to do something. I said, look at their track record. They have had no violent things. They've never done anything violent. None of their members have ever done anything violent.
Basically, if you're worried about them being extremists, you're worried about how people are going to react to what they're saying, not what they're doing. Because what they're going to do is they're just going to come up, they're going to hold up the sign and say, God hates gays. Now, how other people react to them is what they're worried about, not what Westboro. I mean, the Westboro Baptist Church has been doing this stuff since 1990. I mean, or gosh, earlier than that. I think they were founded in like the 70s or the 80s, something like that. It's just like I said, it's a small family group, and they've been doing this for years. They don't attack people. They don't fight people. They just hold up their signs that have less than tactfully put messaging.
Yep.
And I've seen people take their signs. I've seen people throw water on them, punch them. Like, they don't attack people back.
Yeah.
It's people who come to talk to them or find what they say, find their signs disgusting or repulsive are the ones that you have to worry about being violent, not the other way around.
Yep.
And again, this is part of our society. I mean, we fought back in the 70s and stuff. We like, yeah, the neo-Nazis and all the pro-Nazi organizations are allowed to say their horrible, hateful things. But Westboro Baptist Church, I guess, is not. I mean, I may not agree with you what you say, but I'll defend to the death your right to say it. Has gone out the window in our modern society.
Yes.
Now, and again, the people on the other side are going, well, we're just counter-protesting because they're just hateful bigots. And it's like, okay, but if you didn't give them this level of attention, do you really think they would continue to do this? If you weren't across the street yelling hateful things at them for your perceived hateful things that they're saying, and their signs, and walking a circle and being like, what, 4 or 5 of them walking around, like, there would be no need to cover this. It would just be a couple of crazy people, and the Westboro Baptist Church would be out of the cultural zeitgeist. But this is less about the Westboro Baptist Church and more about, in my opinion, finding the worst representations for Christianity and holding them and going, they're indicative of what every modern American thinks. They're indicative of the modern Christian church. That's what this is about.
Yep.
Like, that's why the ADL, the Southern Poverty Law Center, that's why they want the Westboro Baptist Church in the zeitgeist, because like, seriously, if the worst again, Bill Maher, the great leftist thinker and, comedian, it's like, if the worst thing that Christians have to offer is the Westboro Baptist Church and them going to soldiers' funerals and saying God hates gays, I think the Christian church is not really going to be a huge problem in our society. But of course, the LGBTQ community, they all blow this way out of proportion, and they go there and they counter-protest, and they're like, we're better than you are. And it's like, I don't know about that. Mm-hmm. You both look equally crazy to me. Don't give the Westboro Baptist Church that level of attention. They don't deserve it. They don't need it. Just let them disappear into obscurity. Stop reporting on them.
Which comes to the fact that this is more about them getting, being on the news. Like, so I really think this was just about them being seen on the news, mm-hmm. more than this was about, what happened with the poor girl here.
Yeah. Question. Well, and here's the thing. There was a bigger turnout to the Westboro Baptist Church showing up than there was the school walkout.
That's right.
What does that go to show you? That these people don't actually care. It's not about love. It's about hating the other group. It's about, we're hating them. They're hating the gay community or whatever, and so we're going to hate them. We're going to show up and not support gays. They're not there for support. They're not there to show love. They're there to hate the other group that's across the street, so they could show them that they're there to hate. And I do not think that anybody could argue anything different. Like, we're here out of love. It's like, no, you're here because you have too much time on your hands. That's what you're here for. That's what I think about this whole situation. And the fact that you were having a conversation with somebody going, I'm worried about what's going to happen. It's like, are you crazy? I mean, the Westboro Baptist Church has some pretty fruity people and some pretty loopy people in there, but they've never attacked anybody. They've never been the cause of violence.
That's what I do. I look at the organization or group
history. We were both researching it as best as we could. We're like going, has the Westboro Baptist Church done anything violent? And it's like, no. Nope. Every article every article I went into was super biased and jaded against the Westboro Baptist Church, but I could not find a lick of violent actions that they've done.
So the only argument that you could even remotely make to me is that you're worried that they show up and then somebody else becomes violent.
Somebody else comes by and they defend themselves.
That's the only argument I could even remotely see coming from that. if that's the type of violence that they were worried about.
Yeah. I mean, if the Westboro Baptist Church is the worst Christianity has to offer, then Christianity is obviously the least offensive religion there is out there, because that's the worst. People holding up signs that says God hates the gay people.
Yep.
Okay. Wow. You said they're not wrong scripture-wise.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not they can be the ones that dictate whether or not God loves somebody, like God loves all of us, but like I said, he also doesn't love that we live in sin.
Yeah.
And,
Well, the best argument I ever heard for that was, I forget the guy's name. I'll try to find him later, but he was just like, God does love them. He does, but he can't condone what they do. But if you're living,
God
in
loves all of us.
indulgence-
He despises our sin.
Exactly. That's what they're saying. Goes, you can be a Christian and be gay, but you can't act out on it. Like you literally have to be celibate.
Yeah.
So that's the rule. It's like,
Don't indulge in the sinful desires of the flesh.
that's
Yeah.
how I've seen it. And he goes, even like that's what there's even Catholics say that same thing. You know, there can be gay Catholics, but they can't indulge in
the sin.
the sin of the flesh because that is what makes it wrong.
Yes, that's the immoral.
So and that's the thing is like I know plenty of Catholics who have no qualms with gay people, trans, whatever. But it's the
Yeah, we Christians are supposed to love our neighbors. We love our neighbors, but like I said, again, that doesn't mean we have to condone or support the sinful actions that they live
exactly. He said if your neighbor is sinning, it's your responsibility to inform your neighbor of that sin, or at least at the bare minimum, keep your family away from those.
That temptation or
Exactly.
that or making or normalizing that behavior. It shouldn't be. Yeah.
And that's the problem that most people will say that they have with the LGBT community. And stuff like this just blows it
We
up
want
and
to
puts it
normalize,
into the
yeah.
mainstream.
They want to normalize
and
the
makes
behavior.
It's ridiculous. It's insane. I don't see how all this stuff always manages to get blown up into the biggest news story of the year.
Again, how is less than 2% of the population got this much power in the media? But again, like I said, hate sells, folks. Hate sells. That's the reason those people came to protest against Westboro Baptist Church, because they hate them. Not because they love that little girl who passed away here recently. Not because they love her, they feel for her, they don't even know her. They're here because they hate that group, and that's why more people showed up for that than they did show up for the walkout at the school.
Yep.
Period.
It's easier to get people to come together to get something they hate than it is to get people together around something they like.
Absolutely. And remember, we're living in the social media algorithm culture right now. The algorithm has promoted these people to do the things that they're doing. And all those people who started those groups, like, we're doing it because we want to protect all kids and everyone deserves to be loved. It's like, okay, then why would you go there and spread hate back to the Westboro Baptist Church? You could have gone across the street and tried to shake hands and make, you're wrong. And they could be like, no, you're wrong. But no, that's not what they do. You guys were just over there waving your gay pride flags in their faces, not trying to change anybody's mind, and blaring obnoxious music over at them. Now, we can all agree that what they did is obnoxious and ridiculous. It's like, look, someone's dead. They don't need to go flaunting. It's like, again, I'm a soldier. I don't want them going to fellow soldiers' funerals who didn't choose to go over there and fight overseas. They were told to go over there and fight overseas, and they protest their deaths. I don't like that at all. But again, we live in a free society. I will defend to the death. I may not agree with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. That is a principle that we should all have, but it doesn't seem like that exists in our civil society anymore. It seems like that's the last thing people want to do. It's the last thing people care about. It's like, I don't want to hear it. La 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 la. If it's an uncomfortable truth, I don't want to hear it. So we'll kind of move on past this. Like I said, again, just some ridiculous conversations we had yesterday with people freaking out about the Westboro Baptist Church people coming over. It's media, people in this community. Like, I'm disappointed with all the people that showed up to do the counter protest. You are giving these people too much credit. You're giving these people too much. Don't waste your life counter protesting people who, if we hadn't reported on it, there would have been like 3 of them out there walking in a circle for 6 hours and they would have gone home.
Crap, not even that. I don't think they were out there an hour.
Yeah. I mean, I guarantee, like, as a high school kid, if I had walked past that when I was in high school, I would have looked at the sign, laughed, and like, well, how stupid, and then just walked into school.
Yeah. Everyone saying
You
that
think that like they're like we're protecting the Owasso kids from these hateful bigots. It's like they're high school kids. They're on the cusp of adulthood.
Yeah.
You really think that they're going to be like, "Oh no, I've been influenced by crazy neo-Nazi Christians. Like, get out of here."
I
Like,
was about to say,
are your kids that weak?
I was about to say, most of these kids, especially at the high school area, are juniors and seniors getting ready to go to college. I can assure you that there were people when we went to when we went to Arkansas, Fayetteville, there was a bunch of them down there too, and they came down there every night to try to deter people from drinking and, going out on the town.
Yeah,
if you
I remember
that.
I would go to I think one of those church put together what are those haunted houses or whatever, and they were out. The Westboro Baptist people were outside there going, "Don't go in there. You're sinners going into these church-run haunted houses and stuff." And it's just like, okay, like it was just silly.
You can't shelter your kids from
Stop.
the world
Yeah,
for forever.
We are raising our kids in a bubble. Like, our kids are being manipulated and influenced by social media algorithms, and then we're bubble wrapping them from the harsh, cold realities of life. Like, life is not going to be nice to your kids. Life's going to punch you in the face as you go through life. And there's nothing you can do about it. You just got to teach people to be resilient and roll with the punches and be like, hey, I'm not going to let life get me down. Mm-hmm. So that's what you need to focus on. That's what we need to be. So we spent a little too much time on this whole subject, actually way longer than I thought we would spend on it. But in other more national news, New York, Mayor Kathy Hochul, the unelected mayor who replaced the other Cuomo brother, she has deployed 750 of of the New York National Guardsmen, so some of our brothers in arms, to guard the subways because they've imported so many migrants and there's such a crime culture being promoted in New York right now that they're just throwing. A lot of people have died being run over by railroad track on the railroad tracks or
Or said one story was of one of the train drivers or whatever they're called. I forget what they're called, but sticking his head out because they always have to make sure no one's blocking the doors or anything. Stuck his head out to check, and someone
slit his
his
throat.
neck.
Oh my gosh!
I think he's still alive. I don't think he got anything like super, but I mean, still getting your neck slashed when you're doing your job.
Yeah,
not a good thing. And this all stems from, which I need to find the actual Justice Warrior video again, like the one that we did of the mayor, the super mayor of
the most corrupt mayor.
Corrupt mayor in America. Like I said, he has another one about how this is all stemmed from the train. What's it called? Little train ticket hoppers or whatever.
Oh yeah.
No, they don't. New York literally took away the ability for the police to enforce people jumping the rails over the paying for the train, and it's just stemmed from there because once you've allowed one criminal aspect
to take hold, more.
It's just going to increase and get worse and worse and worse, and they're going to see what else. It's like criminals are like teenagers. They push the boundary as far as they can to see what they can get away with. The moment that they've got to a point,
they get pushback,
the moment they get pushback, they're going to stop, but they're going to come right back
and they're going to see how much further they can get.
If you don't enforce the rules, they're going to keep pushing until they're at where they are right now, which is it's got to the point so bad we have to deploy National Guard to the subways.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a crazy thought to think. I mean, they're close to probably having to declare martial law in New York City. This is what happens when you have unfettered immigration in this country. You cannot
not keeping criminals in check. The fact that they have
they just released like those migrants that were beating up all those cops. Like they just let them go the next day.
Oh, they even said that was the one. They go there. They finding out that a lot of these migrants up there, these illegal immigrants that are up there, are fair weather fans. So in the wintertime, they go down to Florida, but they're not committing crimes. And then they even asked him, they go, well, so why are you coming to New York? He goes, oh, I come up here to commit crimes because I get released. And then I go down to Florida. He goes, do you commit crimes? He goes, no. Yeah. They'll lock you up in Florida.
Yeah, I don't want to go to jail. So, crime and punishment, folks.
It works.
It works. And strict punishments for breaking even minor laws keeps people from doing them. So again, I feel bad that they have to activate 750 guardsmen just to guard and
Subway
check
station.
handbags at subway stations, being locked and loaded, armed soldier riflemen ready
We'll
to go.
see. I don't know. New York might just give them the old shield and sticks for all we
Oh
know.
gosh, yeah.
I'll have to call. Well, no, he's not there right now. He's at Ibolic, so he's probably not there.
Oh, you're Flores, your
My buddy.
officer. Yeah. So, anyway, that's kind of what's going on in the world. Maybe tomorrow we might chat a little bit about. We talked yesterday about the death of AAA Gaming and Gamergate, and I realize a lot of the people who watch the show probably have no idea what that is. So we might kind of do a little deep dive into what Gamergate was. It's actually it's the proto media in bed with
Companies,
gaming
corporations,
companies
yep.
and corporations. So
And journalists.
and journalists. So it's media. It's the corruption of media and journalists. It was the proto influence that affected that we soon found out happened later on in the 2016 election. So
Correct.
it's a very interesting story, and it's a interconnecting web of a bunch of nonsense and craziness. But we might do a little deep dive into that tomorrow. So with that being said, I hope everyone has a wonderful day out there. This has been the Twins with the Owasso Live. This was the Morning Loop. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you too can stay in the loop. God bless everyone. Have a wonderful day again.